years in Australia. And so, yes. And so, so he said, yes, they came back. They're forgiven. So third, we should try to see, first of all, cultivate the finding good attitude. Second of all, no one is an eternal road. We should not judge people. We don't know what they're going through. And third of all, try to see Krishna everywhere. So I think try to see the hand of Krishna. And fourth, we should change our attitude from negative to positive. So I've been talking a bit about why we should forgive, how to appreciate devotees. So now I would like to give you a little exercise in forgiveness. So think of someone, a person or a group that you want to forgive, or you need to forgive. Maybe you don't want to forgive them, but maybe you need to forgive them. So this is practice. So we have to make the choice to totally forgive them and release any resentment you have against them. Instead of grudges you have towards them, if you can't do this fully, just do it as much as you can. And if you can't do it, just do it a little bit if it's difficult for you. So find that person or group. Imagine that person is sitting right in front of you. That's hard. You're sitting right in front of you, or she. Glorify that person. Oh, yes. Appreciate them for their good qualities and activities. Then third, ask Krishna to bless their lives in every way possible. I have to do that too. I mean, there's a few I have to forgive like that. So if this sounds too difficult to do, just forgive them for one day or 1 hour, or even just 1 minute. Forgive this person. Yeah, that much I can do. 1 minute. I can forgive for 1 minute. So then you need to repeat this for as many people or groups. Not now, we're not going to do that now. And now you need to ask yourself the question, what is it in you that will not allow you to totally forgive? You see, your life will improve in many ways if you can start this forgiving. I have some affirmations here. I don't think they can be put on the screen. I don't think so. I should have sent it to you. Anyway, we have some forgiveness affirmations. These are positive statements that you can say that will help you forgive. First of all, I openly recognize and accept my feelings. Feelings are going to be there. I must openly recognize. Second, I'm grateful to Krishna for arranging this situation for me. I'm grateful to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for giving me this test, for giving me this opportunity. Third, I embrace the difficulties I need for my growth and purification. Yes, hard to embrace difficulties, but yeah, we do have to say thank you, Krishna, sometimes, for not only for the good, but even for the difficulties. Now, fourth affirmation, I feel happy and peaceful practicing forgiveness. And next, I accept no one can hurt me unless I allow them to. I don't allow them. Next, I positively respond to the events in my life. Next, I willingly let go of the records of how I was wronged. You know, we don't see on the internet, people are not letting go of the records. Next, I compassionately empathize with, appreciate, and pray for my offender. That's really hard. But the last one is the best. I happily set myself free by choosing to forgive. So I have a little help here from Mahatma Prabhu. because I did attend his seminar on forgiveness. And I'm just giving you the highlights of it because it's a whole huge thing, 3-4 days. So now I'll just remind you points to remember. You're actually fortunate if someone offends or hurts you because it gives you the opportunity to make great spiritual advancement. Remember, to forgive is to set the prisoner free and realize prisoner was you. And again, the problem is we want mercy for ourselves and justice for others. So yes. Now, lastly, I have a list of a test to see if you actually forgave. And what is the antidote? So here are some negative mindsets that you may still have to see, oh, did I forgive this person or not? If you still think like this, you haven't forgiven. Or you act like this. This is behavior or thoughts which show that you haven't forgiven. First one, you hope something bad will happen to the person who hurt you. Yes, no, this is not good. What is the antidote for that? Pray for the person and bless them in the same way you would like to be blessed. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you hope something will happen to them, either good or bad, will make them aware of how they hurt you. Just let them know how you're feeling. Antidote, allow Krishna to deal with them within their hearts the way he chooses. So Krishna will do that. He will, I mean, karma is there. And if you offend too many people, watch out. They're going to curse you and you're going to get it. If you're in the habit of offending people, watch out. Number three, you're still waiting for them to apologize. You haven't forgiven. Antidote, take responsibility for your own forgiveness. Choose to forgive now. The next one, you keep a record of their wrongs with you or you keep a record of how you were right and wrong. Sometimes you have, even if the other person's wrong, we have to allow them to be wrong, especially if you're a mother and you have children who are grown up. You have to allow them to make their own mistakes. You can't say, oh, if you do this, it's good. They're not going to listen. And so don't even try. So you keep the record of their wrongs with you, or you keep a record of how you were right. You still talk about this record to others frequently or rarely, but you still talk about it. You still have your story somewhere in your heart. So if you're talking about what the person did, then you're not forgiving. Antidote, tear up the record of their wrongs and your rights. Okay, next test. Your life is still being controlled or affected in some way by how you were ill-treated. So this is not good. Antidote, create your life from the future, not from the past. Next one, you punish them with your tongue. Oh, so you have not forgotten. Antidote, you no longer let anyone know what was said about you or done to you. If you've totally forgiven, you may even want to do something to ensure no one knows what happened. If you tell someone, but if you have to, you do it to one person, you tell one person in a therapeutic way to remove the resentment, not to punish the other person. Not that you put it on the internet for everyone, Instagram, Facebook, so everyone knows what happened. No, but you can go to your counselor and tell them if you have to tell somebody. Because we do punish people on internet, we do. I've seen it. Yesterday, I had to hide somebody who was doing that. And yeah. Then the next thing, you allow the person who hurt you to be afraid of you or intimidated. So you kind of say, if you don't, anyway, you do something. Gives you pleasure to know they're afraid. because they're getting some punishment for what they did. So antidote, assure the person they have nothing to fear. Next, you want to punish them by making them feel guilty. Antidote, show them Krishna allowed this to happen for a reason. Now here's one very interesting. You don't forgive yourself. Not only we have to forgive others, we have to forgive ourselves because we're part of it. We're part of everything that happens. Maybe, we did some wrong action ourselves, or we said something wrong ourselves. And so the antidote to how to forgive yourself, meditate on how Krishna forgives you, Radharani forgives you, Lord Chaitanya forgives you, Prabhupada forgives you, how Krishna instructs the devotees to see everyone engaged in service with the desire to advance, to be a sadhu, to be rightly situated. So then another thing may happen. You forgive, then you give into resentment again. So antidote, when you forgive, you have to be sincere. Forgive from the heart, forgive totally. And not only once, you have to, it may take everyday forgiveness for a while. And then next, you hold them in perpetual fear, threatening to tell on them. I'm gonna go on internet and spread the news. Yeah, that's the way they do it. Now, that's how it's done nowadays. You don't just gossip. That's where all the gossip is. Yeah, you'll find it. You'll find it if you're looking for it. Okay, another test, you never think of their welfare, or it upsets you that things in their life go well. Antidote. Bless them, pray for them. Don't tell them this is what you did. Pray Krishna forgives them. So that's, of course, we see the example of Haridas Thakur, who was being beaten in 22 marketplaces. And he was feeling sorry for the ones who were beating him. And Christ also, one of the last things he said was, forgive them, Lord. But they don't know what they're doing. And so that we can see this quality of forgiveness and the great devotees and the saints. Saintly persons, Christ said that at the end. And Haridas Thakur was praying for his tormentors. Anyway, so next thing, you don't let them save face or want them to save face. The thought no one will ever know agitates you or is intolerable for you. Antidote, accept what happened as your karma. Let the person know Krishna did this to me for my benefit. And this reminds me of Krishna Nandini. How much time do we have? There's no clock in here.
You have 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, great. So she has such a wonderful story how she came to Krishna consciousness. So I will tell you that story and how she forgave the person who did give her trouble. She was in Cleveland. Her mother somehow got a book and became an instant devotee, shaped up all the kids. The kids were big in their teens. She was like 18, she was pregnant with her child. And they went to the temple, and the temple president was not happy with them. You can't just shape up and be like that. And they kept coming to the temple, and finally the temple president called the police on them. And so they decided, okay, we have to leave here. We have to leave from here. And yeah, okay, we have to leave from here. I thought they can't hear so well. We have to leave from here. So they got in the car, like 5 or 6 of them, and they just started driving. And they were praying to Krishna, which direction should we go? Every time they had to make a turn, they would pray. And after a couple of days, they ended up in Dallas, Texas, from Cleveland. They ended up in Dallas, went to the temple, and they found out that in a couple of days, Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada was there. So first of all, from Cleveland to Dallas, they drove without knowing where they're going. Ended up in Dallas. Prabhupada was there. And they were going to install the deities on Radhashtami. It was a few days, it was going to be Radhashtami. And so they begged the president, and he said, no, no. They said, finally, they convinced him, okay, just let us stay overnight. So they stayed overnight. And then the mother got darshan of Srila Prabhupada. She was in with Srila Prabhupada for 6 hours. And with Srila Prabhupada. And at the end, Prabhupada said to her, so, how many do you want me to initiate? So then everybody got initiated. Krishna Devi on Radhashtami on the installation of Radha Kalachandi, I think is the name. Yeah, so some years later, the temple president who had kicked them out begged for forgiveness. And Krishna Devi said, oh, I won't take that back. Just because you did that, we ended up getting initiated on Radhashtami. And so she said, that was the most wonderful thing that happened to us. You kicked us out. But sometimes that happens in your life, that a big drama happens. And you can't figure out, well, why, why is this happening to me now? But at the end of the drama, if you look back at some years later, you can see it was for the best. That usually it means a big change in your life. And it was for the best. And she forgave that person and said, I'm very happy that you kicked us out and we got to get initiated by Shiva Prabhupada. So forgiveness works. Yeah, forgiveness works. And they didn't think about that person. And not only that, the best thing I didn't tell you yet about her initiation. Before the initiation, they were asking the temple president this time, no, they're troublemakers, don't initiate them. And all the sannyasis were telling Prabhupada, don't initiate them, no, we don't know them, they're just new. And Prabhupada said, when I see a spark of Krishna consciousness, then I must fan it. So that's Prabhupada. He saw a spark, and it was a wonderful spark. She became the leader of the Grihastha vision team and did so much preaching, made her own temples. And of course, she left us because of cancer. But that's a really good example among our own devotees of forgiveness. How they forgave, they didn't think about him. They didn't stay there and fight with the temple president. They just left and they got initiated by Shiva Prabhupada. Can you imagine that? And so the last one, you follow one or more of the antidotes, but feel a need to go to the person and let them know, oh, I did this, I forgive you this way, I forgive you that way. No, that's not good also. Don't do that. So forgive because it's the right thing, because you value your relationship with Krishna more than you value punishing your enemy. So remember, most people who offend don't think they've done anything wrong. They don't know they've offended. It's very interesting. They think, they're just going about their life and offending everyone, and they don't know what they're doing. So letting them know you have forgiven them can cause another reaction. So don't do that. Okay. So that's what I have to say. I hope you can get something from this. And I do have here a prayer by Devakinandan Das. Prayer of Devakinandan Das. And I don't think with these glasses somehow they're not working so well. Vrindavana Vashi Jokta Vaishnavaragan Bhattame Kandana Kori Shavarchanan. I first of all worship the lotus feet of the residents of Vrindavan, all of whom are Vaishnavas. I guess I won't do the Bengali, I'll just do the English. Next, I fall on the ground and worship the lotus feet of all of Mahaprabhu's associates who live in Jagannath Puri. I then worship devotees of Mahaprabhu in Navadvip and pray for loving attachment to their lotus feet. I then worship the lotus feet of all of Mahaprabhu's devotees residing in Bengal. With upraised arms, I worship lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dear devotees, wherever they may reside. So he didn't know it was going to be all over the world. Of course, it was all over India then. So yes. With straw in my teeth, I worship the lotus feet of all the servants of Mahaprabhu that ever were in the past or that ever will be in the future.
Have to be careful, Prabhuji. Have to be careful.
Hare Krishna, sorry to interrupt. May I kindly request Narayani Mataji to be unmuted? She's muted. I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry to interrupt. May I request Narayani Mataji to be unmuted? She's muted. We couldn't hear her. Yeah. She should just unmute. Hare Krishna, Balaji Priya.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, now we hear you. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You missed some of the prayer.
Yeah. We missed.
I don't, how long was I muted?
Around 2 minutes, I think 2-3 minutes.
All right. That sounds like it's most of the prayer. I'll summarize. So he prays for all devotees. He offers obeisances to all the devotees, past, present, and future of Mahaprabhu, devotees of Mahaprabhu. And he surrenders. And okay, here's the end of it. What power or ability do I have to glorify the devotees of Lord Chaitanya? Being engrossed in ignorance, it is only out of pride I attempt to do so. Even though I have no speaking power to glorify them, still I'm feeling great pleasure in my mind. Please overlook my faults, O Vaishnavas, and make me your servant. The great wealth of prema is very rare in this world, but by somehow obtaining it, all desires are fulfilled, and one achieves freedom from the clutches of Yamaraj. Being greedy, that the desire of his heart be fulfilled very soon, Devakinandan Das writes this song. So this is true. And he was an offender to, I can't remember, I think Srivas Thakur perhaps. And he begged forgiveness from Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya forgave him. So he did, then he offered this prayer to the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. So we'll stop here. If anybody has some questions or comments, then we can try to answer them.
You have told some 4 points. It's been like 4.
4 points. Yeah, you should see the good in everyone. Yeah, let's see if I can find that. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, here we go. Cultivate the finding good nature. 4 points about avoiding criticizing devotees. Cultivate the finding good nature. Be like the beast. Then second of all, don't judge people. No one is the eternal road. No one is the eternal road. Every sinner had a past, and every sinner has a future. Yeah. Every saintly person had a past, and every sinner has a future. And so that's, and then third, try to see Krishna everywhere. See the hand of Krishna behind what's happening. And fourth, change your attitude from negative to positive. the environment around us is positive. See it that way. It's helping us. Whatever is happening is Krishna's arrangement for us to advance.
Lalita Pretty Mai,
What?
you have a question.
I have a question. I don't see it here.
No, just
Oh, I see the hand.
call for her. Lalita
Okay, yeah, I can't see the name. Lalita
Lalita Pretty Mai.
Pritimai. Lalita Pritimai. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. You are able to hear me?
It's very soft, so we're gonna have to turn it louder. Hold on. Okay, now see.
Hare Krishna, you are able to
Yeah.
hear me, Mataji?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. It's so nice to see you, Mataji, that you are giving a value class for us. It's been after a very long time meeting you after the retreats. So I have a comment for today's class. It's like 3 years back, His Grace Sundaralal Prabhu from Mauritius had taken a value class on forgiveness. And during that time, even Prabhu was telling like how you explained in the beginning that what forgiveness means and what forgiveness does not mean. And as you explained, remember about a person who had hurted you. Prabhu told a little bit of similar things. And what happened to me was there was some small unwanted things happening to my life just after my school days. So that was like a dream for me, which used to repeat very often, and it was really very horrifying. I couldn't sleep peacefully since like past 7 years. I couldn't sleep peacefully. But when I heard this class on forgiveness, and it was my good fortune that we were studying Canto 4 and how Prithu Maharaj forgives Indra, being requested by Vishnu. So even we are going through those things, and I didn't want to forgive the person who had hurt me, but since in the class the teachers told, and even Srimad Bhagavatam tells, so I went to the altar. So I stood near Gaurnitai in our Vrindavan, and I told, I don't want to forgive this person, but because you told in Bhagavatam that you want to forgive, you like the devotees who forgive. So because of your pleasing, I want to forgive him. So I just said this, and then later started to work on this forgiveness aspect. And to my astonishment, within 3 months, all those horrifying dreams stopped. And it's been 3 years, and I don't get those dreams anymore. I'm sleeping peacefully, and I'm not affected by that hatred anymore. So I'm
Yeah,
feeling
it
very
works.
peaceful.
It works. It works.
So thank you so much, Mataji, for giving this class. It really it's a very practical need for the devotees and especially for the students. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada mercy.
Ramai Pandit.
Ramai Pandit.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and all glories to you. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Mataji, my question was that there are some devotees who say that we can forgive, but we won't forget. So is it okay to say that statement? Because is there a difference between forgiving and not forgetting? So is it okay if someone forgives you, but then it doesn't forget that? Is this the same thing, or it doesn't matter, whether you forgive or you forget? So what is the difference between forgiving and they say that we won't forget, but we will forgive?
Well, in the beginning, I said forgiveness does not mean we have forgotten the wrong. We may not have forgotten, but when we do remember the wrong, there is no anger or resentment. There is nothing negative about it. Oh yeah, okay, that happened to me. It's Krishna's mercy or Krishna's arrangement. But it's not when we remember that we have this, oh, I hate that person and I'm so angry and I have this. So the negative should be taken away. You may remember, but you have to remember it in a neutral or positive way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Rasalila Devi Dasi.
Rasalila?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam, humble obeisances. Thank you so much for wonderful class. Like one question I have, like if someone has hurt you and you have forgiven and you are peaceful, doing services, chanting, everything, hearing, doing everything. But as soon as that person comes in front of you, again that picture like refreshes in your mind and you just close an eyes and you get agitated. Now, then what to do at that time?
Okay, that's in our list of things that we do have antidotes for that. So I read you a list of 14 things. So your thing is that it's still, the negative feelings still come up.
Yes,
So, well, here it says, you keep the record of their wrongs and
yes,
how you were right. So you have to tear up the record of their wrongs and your rights. That's one thing to do. You have to tear up what the record was. And another thing, this also sounds like what is happening too. Your life is still being controlled. Well, maybe not. Maybe you're not being controlled. But in a sense you are, because when you see them, you have this negative reaction. It means you haven't forgiven, actually. It means that you're still, you need to work to do on the forgiveness part. Yeah, yeah, it's, that's, you do have, your life, it does sound like your life is a little bit controlled. Not really, it's just a little bit. It's not that bad. Not like, day and night, you have, or like the bad dreams of this lady, of Lalita.
Pretty Mai.
What's who?
Lalita Pretty Mai.
Lalita Pretty Mai. Yeah,
yes.
Lalita for sure. So you don't have that bad of a problem. It's not so bad, but you do need to work a little bit more. Your life is a little bit controlled there. So then that means you need to forgive. Try practicing more.
Thank you so much, Mother. Thank you so much.
Anybody? That's it. Okay.
I have one question.
Oh, we have a question here. What is your name?
Ananda Pradayini.
Uh,
Ananda Pradayini.
Ananda Pradayini. Talk more.
Yes, you have told when the person is coming in front of you, you have to try to glorify that person. Try to glorify.
Okay, so her question is, let me repeat, because they don't hear. When the person's in front of you, you have to glorify them, bless them, okay?
No, is it easy?
No, it's not easy at all.
Is it? Is it easy for that? Because the
Easy.
person who did wrong to you or mistake.
It's not easy.
Oh, you have to search inside.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we are keeping it in our heart
Yeah.
and telling something from the mouth very nicely. Hari Bol Mataji, all this is even.
No, this is not forgiveness, it says here. You pretend like nothing's happened, that's not forgiveness.
So how can we practice?
Yeah, you have to practice putting them in front of you, glorifying, blessing, good feelings. You need to send good feelings.
You have to search inside, find something true that you appreciate.
Yeah, so find a good quality of them, find something good. They must have something good. But one thing I forgot to tell you from Mahabharata is if you're angry with somebody, they get your good qualities and you get their bad qualities, if they tolerate. And of course, it works for you. You tolerate, if someone's angry with you, and you tolerate, you get all their good qualities and they get your bad qualities. That's Mahabharata. Vishwadev. Mahabharata.
Very wonderful class. Thank you so much. It will help us. in our life.
Hope so. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. We would like to very deeply thank Narayani Mataji. And you see, today she came to the VIC. She's currently in Vrindavan. And I think she's the first teacher giving a class from here after 2 years. So thank you everyone for participating and asking questions. And I think this was the last value class for this semester. So if you continue your studies at the VIHE in further batches or in further whatever studies, so we'll see you again. Next semester will start on the 30th of November with Bhakti Vaibhav and other classes. So we'll start sometime in December. So we are looking forward to be with you again and again. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Looking
Hare
forward
Krishna. Thank you.
for
Thank you so
Bhakti
much.
Vaibhav.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Patita Tarana Jagannath Prabhu, I got your WhatsApp message this morning.
Oh.
I'll reply.
Okay, Mataji, sure.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the nice value classes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Thank all the devotees.